in exchange of transactions.
Right.
Um, I mean, we all suffered from this, or we all suffer from this. But I think the greater population suffers for this because it's not just about pricing in dollars or making exchange in dollars or performing transaction in dollars. I'll give you a typical example. Let's say that you want to rent a property. Now, because of the dollarization of the market, what happens is landlords who don't have enough sophisticated data to back up why I'm pricing my one-bedroom apartment in Oyarifa in that neighborhood, they can't quantify the reason why they price that property. Now, let's say in Oyarifa, where a one-bedroom is typically around 1,000 cities to 1,500 cities per month, a landlord can just get up, build an apartment, and say, I'm pricing my unit for $350. Now you can see that maybe he's lucky enough to find a foreigner or lucky enough to find a high income personnel who rents that unit. But the greater population, or the greater 80% of the population who looking for one bedroom cannot rent that unit because now the price is almost times 3 of what it should be. So that is why one of the reasons why it's a bit unfair. We price our properties in dollars, but on the flip side, you still get to understand why people do that because the city it's not quite stable. I mean, thank God for the reforms we've had in the past couple of months in Ghana, which has given some sense of confidence. Now investors can say, all right, it is fine, we can price our properties in cities. Developers are confident to sell properties in cities. We are going to be seeing more, and interest rate in cities have dropped down a bit, when you want to take a mortgage. So these are some of the things that we've seen, but it begs the question, how long will it continue? Will it be stable for a long time, or are we going to see frequent instabilities in the next couple months and next couple years? So these is a good thing, but it also comes with a lot of questions.
Right, because I was going to come to you, from the point of view of government. I was going to come to you, Richard. From the point of view of government, it looks like it's good. Once we are pricing we're giving our contracts in Ghana cedis, it is good for government, but it also affects the contractor in a way, because if the contractor has to get certain things at a particular price and then there's volatility in the exchange rate, then they also have to bear the brunt to be able to do that. But Uche, which currency do you price your things in and why?
We do both right now, although from the directive we are moving towards changing our properties from dollar to cedis. And it's a bit difficult because our landlords are and the developers and partners are already used to the dollar, and they prefer it that way because some of them use that as a medium to invest in other businesses that are also priced in dollars. So it helps them maintain that sort of a seamless transaction when they want to make those business business move. But we do both right now. So what we just do is convert exchange rates and then we price them in cities. And it's a lot of effort because what happens is the more we get these instabilities in the currency, we just have to revert back to repricing the properties in cities. So we do both at the moment, but we're convincing our landlord because it's something that we have to do. I support it. I think we have to reprice
price in Ghanaian cities.
In Ghana cities.
But it doesn't mean that prices are going to drop in any way, right?
No.
It's
it
just
doesn't.
the same. So if say the Oyari, for example, that you gave, that maybe there's an apartment there that is selling for $350.
Yeah.
Currently, it doesn't mean you're going to drop the prices anyway. You're just going to convert $350 to Ghana cedis, isn't it?
Yes. But brother view, obviously that's the way to go. Like convert it and that's what we do. For example, if you use platforms like Mikasa.com, you don't see dollars over there.
Okay.
You see CDs.
CDs.
So what happens? They give you the option to choose their exchange rate, or you can choose your exchange rate. So when you put property, for example, it's cost $350 in the platform, it automatically converts that dollar to CDs.
Okay.
So for example, if it's $350, and let's say they put there that it's 10, it's or $1 to 10 CDs, you're going to see 3,500 CDs on the website. So that is one way, when we market property, that's what you see. But at the same time, I give you the example, it helps people to understand, all right, is there any reason why you priced your property from 1,500 average pricing to 3,500 cities a month? Now you're going to be, people will see that it doesn't make any sense. It's the same regular apartment that I can rent for 1,500 that you're now going to be pricing it for 3,500 cities a month. So we do both right now, but very soon we will be converting and changing our prices from dollar to cities completely.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, we hope to see that. But how difficult is it for the kind of space you're in, real estate? How difficult is it for you to increase prices?
So that comes with the instability in Ghanaian city. If the currency maintains its strength, we've seen this for the past couple of months. We've not had the chance to increase or decrease. In fact, one thing we did is for new contracts, we are into property management right now. We manage close to 200 units. So when we have new contracts or new projects to manage, we convert the entire pricing into cities.
Right.
Now, we do that from the onset. Then we know, all right, if we're paying this amount of salary to the security, to the cleaner, we purchase, and we do all expenses into, all these expenses are being calculated in cities. What happens is we are better informed. If we want to increase rent, we know, all right, we are making increase in rent due to the labor has increased, or due to we're making the electricity tariff per month has increased, or the water consumption levels has increased. So these are factors and data that helps us to make these changes and increase in whatever thing we're pricing. The same goes to property when you're trying to build a property. If we maintain some stable, for example, if maybe the average cost of building a 3-bedroom house in Oyarifa is, let's say, $100,000 to $120,000, and we price it at 1.5 to 1.2 million cities to 1.3 million cities, that gives us a benchmark. Now, if for any reason the prices of cement goes high, the price of labor goes high, duty, tax, goes high, then we just factor those utilities into the pricing. That helps us to, we have a better foundation, we have a better reason why we increase this price. So no longer is the property sold at 1.5, it's now being sold for 1.7. Why? There's an increase in cement prices, there's an increase in labor costs, there's an increase in duty and taxes. So it helps. It just help from good sense, to go that way.
But have you made more money or lost some money due to exchange rate volatility?
Absolutely. Everybody has. Everybody has. When dollar, and I think Mr. Richards mentioned this, last 2 years, dollar got to like 18 cities forex. Yeah, it was crazy. Because what happened, I think it was good and bad, because people stopped investing or buying anything in real estate, or invest in real estate. Houses were not rented, so it was not making any sense. Then it came all the way. So, for example, if you had concluded on a transaction that and you were going to be paying this amount of money, now bear you in mind, I pay salaries in cities.
Yeah.
I do expenses in
In
cities.
cities. Yeah.
I do like utilities and all that fuel in cities.
Mm.
And then the dollar was 17 or 16.5. Now it jumped all the way to 8 cities, somewhere I think earlier this year or so, or 10,
Yeah.
9 cities earlier this year. Now that was a huge jump because of the contracts we've had. Now some of these contracts are like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years contract. If you were paying, if you had bought a property and the contract, is now it was, in dollars, and you were paying, let's say $1,000 every month or $2,000
Yeah.
every month.
Mm.
I am still paying. Dollar has the city has gained strength. Dollar is now 8 cities to $1. I'm still paying the same labor cost,
Mm.
and still paying the same salary. Electricity tariffs have gone high. Fuel cost has gone high. Now I'm paying this. Now I'm no longer making money because it's a huge 40%, 50% jump
Right.
all the way down, and I'm losing.
Mm.
But I still have to pay salaries. I still have to pay
Pay there.
fuel, utilities, and expenses.
Okay.
So it's a lot of loss, but if we can go back and say, all right, for new contracts, just like Mr. Atoforsen said,
Yeah.
I don't do.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. The network. Okay. I think I can hear you now. Maybe you can.
Okay. So I'm saying pricing is in Ghana City,
Okay.
not in. Yeah.
Mm.
But when I'm importing goods, that is when I pay in dollars because I'm being charged in dollars.
Mm.
Yeah. And goods I got last year, the prices are a bit high because of the dollar rate. So for some of those items, I still have like I've maintained the prices. Let's say a customer is coming to buy a fridge, and the fridge costs, let's say, 15,000, the double door, 15,000. Looking at the current rate, I'll just check it. If I reduce the price for the customer and I'm going to use that same amount to get the same fridge from China, and my profit is going to be in that amount, I think I'm good to go. I can reduce the price.
Mm.
But if I check and the price is not going to do anything, like the exchange rate is not doing any justice to the item, I don't think I'm going to reduce it. So sometimes I maintain, at times I reduce the price. I just check if I buy the same product now, am I going to make this profit? Am I going to get it at this price? Though the current the dollar is down now, but I charge in Ghana cities. So everything is in Ghana cities. Whenever you walk in, is in Ghana cities. But if you want me to buy something for you, like import something from China for you, it's going to be in dollars, but I will convert it. I always do the conversion myself. So I just look at the rate and I'm like, okay, so let's say it's 10, but maybe I will use 12.5 or 12.2 to also make some kind of profit.
I see. Right.
Yeah. So that is what I.
So is it usually the rate at the time of the purchase of doing the business?
Yes. So let's say you want to import let's say ACs, right? And currently the dollar is about 10 something, 10 cedis or so.
Yeah, I think 30 pesos or so.
Yes, 10 cedis. Let's take it out. So I will just check the price from there, and if they give me, let's say they are giving me $54, and I convert it, I'm using 10.3 for you over there. That is what I'm going to use. That's the exchange rate I'm going to use to buy from there. That is the price I am having. But when giving you the price, I'm not going to give you that 10.3 because I also have to add my profit.
Of course, and you're not,
waking up at dawn and all of that is a whole lot of stress.
Right.
I use 12.2. That is
okay.
what I do.
Yeah, just so you can also make some money.
Yeah, so that I can. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let me come to you, Richard. You are a tax analyst and all of that. Can you help us understand legally what the Bank of Ghana says about businesses using foreign currency?
Okay, all right, thanks. So this is not a new thing. In fact, it is coming from the budget review statement that by the finance minister that makes it appear as a new thing. It is actually a directive by the BOG long ago, but it's just that because government has not been able to government itself been able to follow, it is also not to be able to crack the whip on the businesses being able to do that. Actually, Ghana, let's get law. Our currency or the mode of exchange is a local currency, that's the Ghana cedi. That is it.
Yeah.
Our just like English being our official language. That's English being our official language. Okay. So it means that our legal tender being the local currency, even if you are using any other currency, then you actually need approval. So the BOG makes an arrangement that if you want to use any foreign currency for trade, then you must get approval from the BOG.
Okay. So there are exceptions.
So there are exceptions. So I can actually go in and apply to the BOG and give them reasons. Okay, so I have a business and all my transactions are in Ghana cedis, which we are mining. Let's look at industry like mining. So almost every transaction over there is in dollar. Okay,
Right.
or in dollar or in pound in a particular currency. So in this case, you can actually apply to the BOG, make your statement that this is the reason
why.
that we want to use the foreign currency, or we want to use a particular currency, a dollar or euro or any other currency. Then BOG will assess it and then give you approval to be able to use it. So there are a lot of companies that trade in Ghana that are able to apply and get the approval to be able to use it. So it's not necessary that everyone must do in the local currency. You can actually make a case to BOG, and then, but even that, in my opinion, I'm thinking that floodgate should not be really wide open. The reason is you want to, all this conversation about this thing is stability. Let me give you an example before I even talk about tax issues. Stability. If one Ghana cedi is exchanged for $1, would this conversation come up?
Not at all. So
yes.
It would have been.
So, if and secondly, if I bought I did a transaction and the exchange rate was 10 to $1, and 3 months after it is still 10 to $1, would this conversation still come up?
Maybe not.
It will never have come up. So, and let me even bring a third one. If I did a transaction in USD and my profit was 1,000 Ghana cedis, and at the end of 1 year or 4 years after, or let me say 6 months after, I did my reassessment and I realized that the costs in the system have virtually been the same, and therefore my profit is still 1,000. Will this conversation come up? So the conversation is really about stability. All right. So And then this is how the instability also flow into the exchanges, into our tax. When you trade in, because the BOG does not even allow the trade in the foreign currency. So when you do your transactions in foreign currency, you are going to incur what we call exchange differences. In account, we say exchange translation differences or exchange differences. So it will be an exchange loss, exchange gain, and then when you want to even trade down, we will look at what we call realized and unrealized. So in some industries, when you make any exchange differences, like the financial sector, because their transactions are major of their transactions are in foreign currency. So when they make exchange difference and co, they have they are even allowed for tax purposes and co. Now, when you come into our local or other industries, so if you don't even have approval, you'll make an exchange differences for tax purposes. You'll be looking at what you say realized or unrealized. Per the old tax law, when we even look at something we say unrealized, let me explain. Say even unrealized.
Yeah, the realized and unrealized.
So you have entered into a transaction today, and you say it is 1 cedi to $1 to $1 or 1 cedi to $2, and then this is what you have recorded in your books. So your revenue sales 1 cedi to $1, so 10,000 revenue. You have reported it in your books. Then you are expecting that transaction, that money should be paid by end of 31st December. So by 31st December, that money is still not paid. So you have not received that 10,000 into your account, your bank account.
Yeah.
So, but meanwhile, you have already recorded the 10,000 cedis as your revenue. Okay. So someone owe you 10,000, but then we go and look at it. That $10,000 that person owe you, by the December, now $1 is 1.5. So that $10,000 is now valued at 7,500. What it means is that if the person pays you that $10,000 today, the value will not be the same as that 10,000 Ghana cedi that you would have gotten.
Yeah.
You would have gotten something less. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that 2,500 difference is a loss. You have made that loss. But the reason is that one thing is this: that loss has not crystallized. The person has not paid you today. But in your books, per accounting record, we call accrual basis. So you have accrued that income in your books. And then the receiver, that is some amount that the person owe you, have also recognized it in your books. And per your profit, you have also recognized that you have made that profit. But actually, that money has not come into your hands. So we say it is unrealized.
Okay.
We say it is unrealized. If that money, the person takes a decision and pays you that money by December 31st, and then in that case, the person has paid, then the transaction has crystallized, then you have made a realize.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to tax purposes, and if you don't have approval, even to go to transact in foreign currency, this is what happened. Our current tax law will say that all those unrealized exchange either loss. In Ghana, our tax law has been made quite tricky regarding exchange differences. The revision on the tax exchange differences was made in this way: all unrealized exchange loss, it is not deductible expense. We say it's a deductible expense. We will not allow you to deduct it from your revenue or from your profit as an expense. So this loss that I just juxtaposed, the 2,500 is unrealized. So you will not be allowed to take it away from your profit. In this, you're going to be taxed on that amount of money.
Okay.
DRA will see that that money, that your profit that you have made, that 2,000, I won't allow you to deduct it as an expenses. So I am going to tax you. But the law is, the other side of it is that ordinarily equity. So if I'm going to be taxed if I make an unrealized exchange loss, then I should also be allowed to not to be taxed if I made a gain. Right. But the law is quite silent on that. The framers of the law decided that they won't bring it again. So in this case, if you say that you want to you want to issue invoices in currencies, foreign currencies, and go. Now the city is performing. We are going to make a lot of unrealized exchange gain. The tax law is silent. Because the tax law is silent, GRA can even go and say that if you made the losses, although you have not received the money has not come, the transaction has not crystallized, I will not allow you to take it away. I will tax you still on it. So we calling for putting transaction in foreign currencies and go. We should also be careful, because this is also waiting for us on the tax side. On the tax side of it, unless you do a lot of transactions that don't go into the books. Right. If they really go into your books, you are really going to face it. Right. So this is how it's actually going to. I've seen a company that made 100 million unrealized exchange loss in a particular year. And GRA said, okay, this one is not, I'm not going to allow as a deductible expense. So your profit, assuming I made profit of 50 million profit, and I made 100 million exchange loss, or I even made a loss of 50 million, and in that loss, there was 100 million exchange loss sitting in that loss over there. GRA will strip that 100 million off. As soon as he strips it off, that my loss will turn into profit and I'll be taxed. So this is how it's actually going to be. So calling for that, so that is why it becomes important that rather than calling government to let us issue trade in foreign currency, let government losing its sovereignty on currencies and co, we should rather pinch government to put in measures to make the currency stable. That's what we need to do. Rather, instead of saying, I want to hold guarantee, we all heard it. I mean, we went to one either minister or official, or government official, and the key money that we found over there that became an issue was dollar. People were keeping money dollar in their houses. Do you know what was going to happen? It means that because in the BOG, even the banking system, when you do even a lot of those transactions, at times you could be flagged. Okay, or you do a lot of withdrawals.
Yeah.
For the business, you know it. You'll be flagged. So I mean, for a lot of even for money exchange and then money laundering, all those, you'll be flagged. So instead of that, people will do it on the black market,
right?
And that is why the black market is strong now. And then have these monies in their houses. Okay, instead of keeping it in the banking sector for the banking system to have the cash flow, to have enough cash flow to run the system, so that when you want a loan, they will have a lot of money on them to be able to give you as a loan.
Yeah.
No, now there will be few that they have because we have stocked it in our houses. Okay, so the little loan that you also want, the little amount of money that they want, let me say GCB, if they have like 2 billion, a cut that they can give out as a loan, because we are keeping all the money in their houses, because we are trusting dollar or a foreign currency as a medium of value, or as a means of value than our local currency. We are keeping in our houses. They will not have a lot. So instead of 1 billion, if they should be having, they will be having about 500,000. No, GCB, there's also a business. They also must make profit. So that 500,000, they will have overhead. Right. They have about 2,000 employees or 3,000 employees that they have to keep. So in this case, their major source of revenue is through the loans that we have taken. So what do they have to do? They also increase the interest rate.
The rates.
So do you see what you are calling for? So it has a lot of economic ramification. So it's not necessary. So my thinking is this: if the city was strong, and all the money that the officials and go had on them in the home, all the one that we are keeping it in under our bed, and then some place that we have kept it, they were all in the banking system. The banking system would have been very much robust, would have had a lot of funds. And let's look at it, 2007, 2008, 2006. If Ghanaians want to remember, banks were chasing people to come for loan to do loans. Business.
Yeah, I remember.
Why?
I was very young, but I remember.
Yes. And banks were chasing people, and I think it was even close. Also close to when we have done our devaluation, revaluation of our currency and go. Banks were rather chasing people to come for money to do business. Why? It is because they had enough. They had a lot. So when you don't put in place measures to stabilize your currency, you lose your currency sovereignty. In this case, your currency will not be a trusted source of wealth in our economy. Let's look at when it was 18 to $1. Just imagine. I know that Nigeria was so high. It was even much more difficult to find.
Yes.
Okay. So when it was we were within that range. No, how do you want to keep CD? I rather want to keep a $10 than 200 Ghana cedis. Okay. So no one have any trust. So let's get a contractor who goes to China, who has a contract and wants to execute that contract in Ghana. Yes, you have a contract in dollar, and then you buy equipment from abroad to come and do your business. But no, if the currency is fluctuating and then it's not strong, because we are all transacting in various currencies and then our currency is weak, you are going to pay more at the port. You can just imagine what was happening at the port. You are going to pay more at the port. And when it happens, and then also when the currency also becomes so weak, government will have to give currency support. And we have heard of BOD putting money into the systems and co. And then we'll be looking at losses and co. Where will the government recover? They will recover it through taxes. They will increase taxes again. So this is what we are actually calling for. So we should rather, in my opinion, accept this call. But rather, whilst accepting it, we must also hold government to put it in place appropriate measures to stabilize it. Because that is what we are looking at. It is not the dollar that we are looking for. We are looking for a stable currency. That's what we are looking for. A stable currency. So we should rather advise government or help government or stimulate government to put in place appropriate measures. And that is why government taking the first step of issuing all contracts in cedi be a good step. And I also encourage government that they should also stop borrowing in foreign currency, especially borrowing from the local market in foreign currency. Right, they should also stop borrowing in foreign currency because government is the biggest ruler of the market. I mean, governments do an expenditure, it's a million, billions, and co. You should rather do that so that we will be able to have. So it is not. It's rather in a positive way to advantage the economy, even from a tax perspective, and then from our profit perspective, to advantage the economy, to issue the currency invoices in the local currency to strengthen the local currency so that we don't have this fluctuation going forward.
Right. So of course it's illegal to do business in dollars. But what are the tax the risk in there? What are the risks tax wise and also compliance wise? If someone continues using dollar without approval, what happens?
So this is basically what's going to happen. Let me say you give all your invoices to GRI. GRI is auditing you, and you give all your expenses. They are all in dollar. GRI, they will look at what benefits them. You have issued them all your invoices, your revenue in dollar. They will take it. Fine. They are happy. You have made a lot of revenue. But the dollar, if you issued all, you got your expenses, because your profit is going to be your income against expense. So if all your income, they will accept it. Fine. That is fine. But your expenses, because you did not use the legal means of tender, they can reject all. So you pay your taxes on all the income. Yeah. And then let's look at it again. It is also going to, because the cedi is going to be weakened when you do that, and you're going to generate a lot of exchange differences. So you are a local company, and all your transactions, when they come, you made a lot of losses, even realized exchange differences, and they are all in local currency. Because you don't have approval to trade in foreign currency, they can disallow everything. Because you don't have, it's not illegal tender. You are not allowed. You didn't get approval. So all these are some of the effects. And also because you are also using foreign currency, it creates a lot of exchange gains difference, because there are a lot of receivables. That's a lot of debt that you people owe you. You are going to have a lot of unrealized exchange differences on your account, and all this are not going to be allowed for tax purposes. And so when you do that, the tax effect is rather in a negative. But let me bring a bit funny side of it. And so when I was with the JRN, and I said, look, it's also going to affect the revenue. So this is why it's going to affect government revenue. When government in 2022, in my opinion, from my analytical point of view, I say GRA met their target for the year because of the exchange volatility. The reason is that the exchange rate went up,
right?
And then a lot of the pushers of the economy, those who are tax compliant, the mining, a lot of the industries and co, they also issue their invoices. They have their contract in foreign currency. Okay. So when it happened, their value in Ghana cedi went up high, soared up very high, right. And VAT, if it's 21.9%, it means that it's automatically, as the exchange rate was going up, the VAT income for government was also going up, and companies recorded a lot of profit. Maybe recorded profit, not real profit, but recorded increased profit compared to what they would have gotten Okay, not in rate terms. And GRA had all this to tax. Okay, so it increased. So when the exchange rate also stabilize and goes down, what is going to happen to government is that it's also going to affect government revenue in a certain way, especially VAT is going to affect government revenue in this way. But the good side of it is that when it happens, people are going to make real profit, and then corporate income tax is going to go up in a certain way. So this is what is going to be. So it is not only just on one side, and then the ability of government to manage both sides will be an advantage.
Right. So the city depreciation was not all negative.
It helped GRA meet their target. Too. If I think 2022 their target was 150 billion Ghana cedis. First quarter they did not. They could not. They missed it. By third quarter they had not. They met it in the fourth quarter.
Because
we're
doing
the dollar. As at August, the dollar in 2022, the dollar to CD was around 10.1. As at August, it was around 10. It began with 6.01. That's January, 6.01. It went to 7.11, and then by August it was 10.0. I think 10.1. That's where. But between September to November, it shot up to around 15, 16. And then so that's where they actually met. They actually hit the jackpot. So it has a certain way. So it is not necessary for government to pitch businesses. It's also going to pitch itself in a certain kind of way. But if you're able to achieve that stability, it will enable business to go, and there is going to have a kind of maximization. Right. Then both sides are going to benefit. A kind of a positive sum approach. Yeah.
So Uche, from where you sit, why do businesses price in dollars? Why do you think businesses do so? Why do they? I mean, why must they? What are the biggest reasons that they give why they must continue to transact in foreign currency?
So I'll put it in two ways. One is the legal reason and illegal reasons. So legal reasons. Every businesses that price in dollars has some form of foreign trade, which means that they buy
like Presla.
Okay, like Presla, example. She buys properties, she buys goods from abroad, and over there the legal tender is either the most legal tender in the foreign exchange is dollars. So she has to realize, so she buys all of those things in dollars, and the best way for her to realize her profits and make money, make gains, is to reprice those goods when she's selling them here in dollars. That's legal reason. But an illegal reason for pricing for my properties as a real estate consultant or any person who performs real estate in dollars is to get more money. Obviously, it's the best way to go. You're building a unit. You're building a house here, and it costs you about 500,000 to 700,000 to build that unit. Now this is your entire money, principal, blood, sweat, labor costs, expenses, time. You spend 700,000 cedis. If you convert that to dollars, that's about, let's say, 70,000 cedis. But because the numerous or the many developers around the area, or because of this whole dollarization of properties and exchange rates and all that, the average price of the properties are around there sells for, let's say, $150,000. Now you see it consciously. If I want to make my gain, let's say if I should make a 10%, 20%, 30% in cities, we should be around $100,000. But because everybody else is pricing properties in dollars, I am tempted to do $150,000. Now, if I end up selling that property because we have people buying, we have people with a lot of equity to acquire those properties, and they acquire those units for $150,000. What do you think happened? I just made double of that amount.
Right.
Now, do you see why it's a good business?
It's a good illegal business.
This is what not rigging. So it means that he's making a lot of money, but not real, because
Yeah.
it's what was only one property that has made double of it. So
Yes.
it doesn't even trigger to economic growth, because if you was to build 2 property and sell to get those one,
Exactly.
you have hired more labor.
Yes.
Now only one
Yes.
labor that he hired, he's getting double.
Times 2, double of that
Right.
amount.
That's what the business. So that's what they really want to do. That so they can make more money.
Make more money.
Profit maximization. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
So it's just the 2 reasons, basically. The good side and then the illegal side.
Right, but I'll come to you, Priscilla. We haven't left you out of the conversation. Sorry. Yeah, Richard. So does our tax system here in Ghana, or maybe the banking environment, in any way incentivize the use of foreign currency?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Not at all.
It doesn't. No, if you check Africa, if you check within the African terrain, Nigeria has much more stricter one. I think Kenya also, Rwanda is also implementing theirs. Okay, none of them want to incentivize you to trade in foreign currency. So in Ghana, that's what we are saying. That Ghana's own for unrealized foreign exchange gain. The lawmakers were silent. So GRA technically can tax you, but if you make unrealized foreign exchange loss, you will not be allowed as a deduction. So this is not an incentive. It's really a kind of punitive way. And I'm waiting for even one of them to go to court for the court to make a decision on it. So that's what it's going to be, as whether they're going to use the strict approach of interpretation, or they'll either use purposive or the constructive approach of interpretation. So because the jurisprudence at times it lies in the bosoms of the court. All right. So which one weighs so much at a particular time can be actually be used. So it's not really, the tax law don't incentivize.
Right.
It's rather makes a kind of disincentivize you for trading, because the state policy, is when you do more in the foreign currency, you are affecting the sovereignty of the country.
Right.
It's a lot. So they wouldn't want you to do that.
So they don't do that at all.
Encourage it.
Not even unknowingly.
It's not really encouraged. It's not really encouraged.
Right.
And that's why when you trade in foreign currency and Nigeria is even auditing you, at times if they are strict, they can go to the extent, and you are trading in foreign currency, they can go to the extent of your approval to trade in the currency.
Right.
Okay, and then so that they will take your revenue and then your expenses, if they are strict, they can disallow. Those that you did it in foreign currency, they may be able to disallow, especially if you don't have the approval. So that's what makes it quite
right.
Yeah.
But do you think this directive will affect investor confidence in any way, negatively or positively?
Okay, so the investor confidence, in my opinion, will come from 2 points of view. One, if I heed to the directive,
right,
and I issue the invoices in Ghana cedi, and it is 1,000 cedis today, tomorrow when they pay, and will it still be valued that 1,000 cedis? That's investor confidence.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you issue it and it is 1,000 cedis today, and tomorrow it is valued 700, it means irrespective whether you are allowed to trade it in foreign currency or not, that is investor confidence. Okay, so that's why I look at from point of view from investor confidence. Now, 2, if the investor confidence will also be that, will government be able to apply this rule across board? So investor comes to Ghana, he goes to for purpose of this program, I can't mention the hotel name. He goes to a hotel and he pays everything in foreign currency. Then he said, issue your invoice in local currency. Okay, so it kind of affects their confidence in it. So this is how it is. So your ability to stabilize the currency, and then your ability to apply this law generally.
I see. Okay, our time is fast spent, and so we would wrap up very soon. But do you think that this is something we are going to really see businesses aligned to? Is this something that we're going to be able to track, to follow, knowing very well that we've struggled with enforcement in the past? Do you think that we're going to be able to do it? Let me take Priscilla's thoughts on that, then I come to you. Priscilla? Yeah. So do you think it's going to be easy for government to actually track, especially because more businesses are also in the informal sector? There are people in the informal sector who actually do this. You think that? Yeah. Do you think it's going to be easy for government to ensure or to enforce these laws?
As for that, it's going to be. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be that, because even Looking at the exchange now, today we don't know if it's stable. Now they are saying we should use Ghana cedis, which is fine. But as to whether it's going to be stable for us to maintain it, for that one, I don't know. For that one, I personally don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
So let me come to Uche, and then I take your final thoughts. Uche, so tell us, from where you said, do you think it's going to be easy to enforce this new directive?
Obviously, not. Obviously, it's not going to be a very easy one. Mr. Richard just said, if this is cut across board, everybody, this is, and not just saying it, but putting strict measures and enforcing this. You see, the problem is not about saying it; it's about enforcement. If you enforce it by being more strict here with your laws and penalties, everybody has no choice than to follow it. And it's a good step by the government recommending or stating that every government contract will be in a local tender, which is cities, Ghana cities. So if that continues, not just the government side, but maybe not the government sector, all across government sector, and then they begin to enforce these practice into the private sector, everyone has no choice than to just follow suit.
All right.
So it's not going to be an easy one, but it's something that if the government starts it, begin it, enforce it, everyone else, including the private sector, has no option than to follow.
But are there specific things you think government should put in place beyond just taking the lead in this? In all of this, is there anything government should do to be able to?
He said it, that if the economy is stable, if the Ghanaian city is stable, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
And then he talks about investor confidence. Every investor wouldn't have a problem investing their money. See, investors is all for profit. You want to make money.
True.
You want to make profit, and that's why you have like the world-class economy, United States, Europe. You become a billionaire easily when you go there. I listened to an interview from Aliko Dangote. He's the world richest man in Africa, and he's just valued in 20-something billion. But he said if he had invested his money in maybe in the United States, he'd be worth $100+ billion right now. So it's if we have that stability, if we have not just incentive that investors see, that makes them want to invest a certain amount of money in any of the industry in Ghana, and we see that the city, whether it's dollar, but if there is some stability, then of course there is no problem. But if there is no stability, it calls for illegal things happening all over the place.
Right. Okay. Let me come to you, Richard, finally, and then we can go. So same question. How do you think it's going to be easy for government to enforce the laws or the new directive?
Yes. Let me look at from the angle of change.
Okay.
No, change is always difficult, and in Ghana we have allowed this to go on for law, though it's not law, it is illegal. We have allowed it to go on for long. So the company that is pricing everything or benchmarking everything to dollar, telling the person to do it in Ghana city is going to be difficult. Even government institutions where they price their per diem in dollar. Okay, the government institutions. I mean, when you look at the current Supreme Court, the Chief Justice case, you can see the per diem. I mean, some of them were in dollar. Okay, so those that were even getting per diem in dollar, if you come and tell them maybe $150 a day or $1,000, and now it's going to be priced in Ghana cities, they are not going to find it. They are not going to take it easy. So it's never going to be easy. But there's always a chance that you give it a step. So let me pick Ghana. When you just drop, which you just dropped from Kenya today, all right? You just drop Ghana at the airport. Drive 3 minutes. What do you see? Drive 3 minutes. Exit airport. What do you see? We have the black market well established over there. And do you know where it is? Just where it is well established. It is about 3 minutes walk or a minute walk to a police station. All right. And then, so that is where almost every business person appears. So any investor who appears in Ghana, one of the first market he sees is the black market.
Yeah.
All right. So if you government, you want to establish this, you want this to work well. Some of these things, if you don't uproot it, if you don't eliminate or you don't suppress it, you can never. It will be difficult, because if he invoices in dollar and receive the money in dollar, and he goes to the bank, he don't get the money. He'll go to the black market to get the change.
Yes.
All right.
So it means that you can always, your law will be there, but there's a way to
corner
to go to the informal sector to be able
Right.
to do it, and at the black market. So this is one of the things. Apart from stability, government needs to take key steps to hit the black market to make sure that that system doesn't really work. And thirdly, the businessmen are complaining about not having dollar when they go to the bank and co.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So it's I always because the vampire in the system is quite huge. I mean, let me say the cartel in the system that sip off the dollar that the BOG pumped into the system is quite significant. So that's one of the reasons. So, but one thing is, if a businessman goes to the bank and get a dollar, he won't go to the black market. In this case, there's not much incentive to price it. One, it is stable. One, he won't get it elsewhere. And two, he'll get it at the bank, or it comes to you, you'll get it.
Right.
In this case, it's much more incentive to incentive to follow. So it is never going to be easy. But if government takes some of these steps,
we'll
yes,
be able to
government takes some of
realize
these steps. So not only contract, please, government administrative expenses, they should also take steps to cut it off the foreign currency, and you will see there's going to be
Right.
a good impact.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks so
And
much. Thanks so
also
much
Priscilla.
for having us.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah. I've enjoyed it too. Priscilla, thank you very much. Do you have any final words, Priscilla?
Oh, I still have some dollars here in the house. So I don't even know what to use it to do now. So it's just here.
Right. Anyway, all right. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. Really grateful to all of you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
All right. That's how we wrap up today on the Business Breakfast on Z. And my guests were Richard Amohene, he's a tax analyst, and also Benaya Uche Rawlings, an entrepreneur. He's into the real estate space. And also Priscilla Dedinati. She is also into importations and all of that. And these are the three individuals who joined me on our conversation on whether business transactions should be in local or foreign currencies. If you miss any part of this interview, it is live on our Facebook platform at ZFMGH and also on our YouTube platform at Z Multimedia. You can visit these platforms and play it back. But thank you very much for sticking and staying with us right here on the Business Breakfast on Z, right from 6:15 till now. We're back again tomorrow for more interesting conversations. My name is Nitra B. Hammond. Please take very good care of yourself. And when you think Ghana, think Z. See you tomorrow.